Hello, friends, and welcome back to the Podcasting Problem Solver. I'm Leah Bryant, your podcast growth strategist and coach, and the person who helps entrepreneurs turn their podcast into a powerful growth engine, not a vanity project. Now, if you've been listening for a while, which I hope you have, or if you're here today, hi. You know I talk a lot about SEO and podcasting, titles, show notes, keywords, but here's the thing. SEO doesn't only live in just one place. It also lives on your website, your social profiles, even the guest interviews you do on other podcasts. All of these are opportunities to boost your discoverability. So, of course, I had to invite back someone you already know and love, my bestie and the SEO queen herself, Brittany Herzberg.
Hello, I am here. I'm so thrilled to be back. Thank you for having me.
Yes, I'm so excited to have you back. We are going to unpack how SEO extends beyond your podcast feed, and we'll cover how to make your website pull its weight, how to optimize your profiles on social so they show up in search, and how to make the most of podcast guesting opportunities. And if you don't know Brittany, which you really should, by the way, if you don't, let me introduce her. After barely making rent her first month in a brand new state, 2 clients magically found Brittany, but only because she'd optimized her website for SEO. She realized then that she had a natural knack for doing SEO and leaned into this strategy, accidentally becoming an SEO expert. Since then, Brittany has applied this strategy to everything, not just her website, but for hundreds of clients. Before she knew it, SEO was her thing, and people were calling her the SEO queen, as they should. Brittany, welcome back.
Thank you for having me.
Yes. So let's get started by talking about websites.
Okay.
Because this is where I think a lot of podcasters struggle.
Mm-hmm.
I see a lot of podcasters treat their website like a parking lot for episodes, like the audio.
So true.
Right? So true. Like the audio just lives there, but it's not actually driving traffic or leads or anything.
Mm-hmm.
So when it comes to websites, what are the most important areas podcasters should focus on for SEO? What do you see people skipping altogether?
They skip altogether the fact that they should be turning, and I don't normally say should, you know this, but you really should be turning your podcast episodes into blog posts.
Yes.
It is like such an easy thing to do, and I have gotten this down to where it's a 30-minute process, no more.
Oh, I love that.
I know, it's great because, I mean, we talked about this last time a little bit too. There are several things you can create once and use them on your podcast post as well as your blog post. So you can work smarter, not harder, friends. That is definitely one thing. Another thing is even not having the podcast, giving it a page on your website.
Right.
So those I would say are like the 2 biggest missed opportunities.
So true.
Because I'm sure you've seen this all the time, just like I have.
Oh my goodness. Yes. I talk about it with clients too, right? Because your website isn't just about housing your episodes.
Mm-hmm.
It's a tool for discoverability. You know, when you optimize the right spots, like your blog, style show notes, or your episode pages or whatever, you're creating those doorways for new listeners to find you.
Yeah.
And that's kind of like what I teach in the execution phase of my seamless podcast framework, making sure the backend pieces are set to support discoverability.
Yeah.
So let's build on this.
Okay.
We're gonna build our house here.
I like this.
For the podcaster who wants their website to actually work for them, what are some strategic ways they can use their site to drive more traffic and turn that traffic into listeners or leads?
Okay, so let's start with the blog posts.
Yes.
The thing you can do with the podcast episode blog posts, if you will, one thing I really want business owners, especially to hear if you are a business owner who has a podcast, which I think a lot of your audience is, you want your blog post to point someone to another next step, a logical next step.
Yes.
So that could be go listen to this other episode. That could be buy this low ticket digital offer. That could even be sign up for my email list, follow the show, whatever that next step is. You could even have, oh my gosh, shocker, several things in that blog post where you're giving people options for where they could go next. So do not miss that, because if you skip that, you're kind of leaving people on an island. They don't have a bridge to get back to the mainland. They don't have a boat coming to pick them up to take them anywhere else. They're just kind of there. And what do you often do when you get to the bottom of the thing and you're on that island? You click out.
Yep.
And you may feel as a podcaster and even as a business owner, like, oh my gosh, I don't want to ask them to follow the show or ask them to buy this thing. Or if you don't offer that next step, people don't know where to go.
Exactly.
You're just like the police officer under the stoplight that's not working. You're directing traffic. Like, we need some help. Okay.
Yeah.
So just let people know what their options are. That I would say is like the biggest thing as far as making your blog posts work for you. I talk to so many business owners where they're like, I want to monetize my podcast or I want to monetize my blog. That does not just have to mean ads or sponsorships or anything like that.
Say it again.
Right? Shocker, you're a business owner and you have things that you sell. What? So you can tell people about Can you tell we talk about this a lot?
A lot.
So there's that. That would be for blog posts. And then I'll also add in the reason it's so great to have a page on your website dedicated to your podcast is because it is an easy, it's almost like its own standalone piece of content because you're sharing about your podcast. You're highlighting episodes, whether that's the most recent ones or some top performers or whatever. You can also weave in the reviews that people leave you, like on Apple Podcasts, or even things that people have just sent you in DMs or something. You can feature those pieces of social proof, those testimonials, and that encourages people to listen to your show. One of the things I like doing, encouraging clients to do, is to have buttons on that page where it's like, follow the show on Spotify, follow the show on Apple, follow the show on YouTube, because those are obviously the three big places that most of our listeners come to us from. So you're giving them the freedom to make the choice of where they want to go listen. And if you're saying follow, you're increasing your chances that someone will actually click the follow button when they get to that other page.
Right. And it's like, what do you do as an entrepreneur person being peopling when you're out on the webs? Like, when you are on someone's podcast page, do you follow their next steps or do you click out if there's no next steps, right? Just put yourself in their shoes. Being able to have those options. So important. I love that.
Yeah.
And it also reinforces the point that your podcast episodes shouldn't live in isolation, like you were saying, on that island. Right.
That just came to me in the moment.
I love it. They should connect, right? Back to your offers, your resources, your bigger business goals. That's where SEO becomes a growth tool, not just busy work. Love it so much. Okay. Goodness, it's so good. Let's shift gears to social media.
Okay.
Because this one I think is a little sneaky. And people don't realize that their social profiles often show up first in Google search results, especially when using their personal name, like sometimes even before their website. And this is due to the fact that Google often prioritizes like highly authoritative sites like Instagram. So, Brittany, I would love to know what are the key elements that you recommend podcasters should optimize on platforms like Instagram to increase their visibility in search?
Yeah. So I would definitely say LinkedIn and Instagram are generally the top two that show up pretty high on the search page. If someone was to go type in Leah Bryant or Brittany Herzberg, like they're going to see our website, but they're also going to see the Instagram and LinkedIn profiles. I'm going to focus on Instagram and giving us some actionable tips there.
Love it.
Because I mean, it's easy. It's right there. I have had so much ROI just from putting some emphasis here. So if we're looking at our Instagram profiles, that bold part is gold. I need you to see that with like money signs next to it. So what happens with that bold part is I've had this happen where people have found me just by searching SEO copywriter, SEO strategist, SEO coach, podcast SEO, you name it. They've probably typed it. I've shown up and I've been on podcasts. I've spoken in groups. I've done paid and free speaking in groups. I've gotten clients. People have referred me. So a number of things have happened because I've had that optimized. If you do nothing else today, go take a look at your bold part of your profile. You can take a day to think about it or something, but I need you to consider what is there, how can you optimize it? And I will say there's a character count. I can't remember the character count, but you can easily Google that character count. If I do have anything, I'll share it with Leah afterward and we'll get it in the show notes for you.
Yes.
But I also noticed I used to just say like SEO strategist for entrepreneurs. And I realized that when a stranger was messaging me, it would be like, hi, SEO. And I got so annoyed. I was like, I need to put Brittany in there or B. I could have even put B because I go by B. So what I did was I put Brittany bar SEO, and you can go check it, but it's like SEO strategist for entrepreneurs and podcast hosts or something like that. So whatever that thing is that you want to get found for, make sure that's in the bold part. That is super, super critical. Another hot tip that I will give you is for the link in bio. Please, I beg of you, make that link a page on your website.
Yes.
Please. Don't let it be a Bitly or a Linktree. I know they're fun and cute and fancy, but the SEO juice is going over to Bitly and going over to Linktree and not coming to you and your website. There are so many reasons I will not go down that rabbit hole, but it is just so much more beneficial to have that link in your bio actually go to your website. You can very easily, Leah's on WordPress, I'm on Squarespace, you can very easily create a page that will look very similar to Linktree and Bitly and still be functional and something that people can easily get to, navigate, click around on your website, get lost on your website, stumble into your, email subscriber form or your podcast or your offers, you name it, it's there. But it does give you a great place to feature your podcast and to give people a place to go click the button and listen to your show.
Yes. I also want to say in that same vein about not giving a third party your traffic, it's the same thing with having your only a Buzzsprout page or only a Libsyn page or Podbean page or whatever hosting platform page for your podcast and not on your website.
Yes.
They're not going to find your services and about you and all the things on Buzzsprout or whatever hosting platform. Versus when they come to like your website and you have your podcast set up there and you have your show notes, they can like peruse your services, your about, all the things and like really get to know you. Stop giving the traffic to the hosting platform and bring it to you. I love that. So good.
Bring it. Yeah. And that even ties in with like the episode description.
Yes.
Where we have, this, I used to drop all of the links in there or most of the links in there. And I have made it a practice this year, at least with my show, to just say, go here for the full show notes. So maybe I'll give one or two key things. If it was really like a point of emphasis on that episode, I will give the link in the episode description. But 9 times out of 10, the bulk of the links are going to live over on the blog post version, if you will, of that episode.
I do the same. So good.
Yeah.
Interestingly enough, I think that also probably surprises a lot of podcasters. Like social profiles really are like a mini search engine, right?
Yeah.
And I always try to remind clients, I know you do too, that your bio is your billboard. Like if someone Googles you, like you said, and your Instagram pops up first, and that's a massive opportunity to make sure that your podcast and your business are front and center, right? So now here's a common question that I get, and I would love to know the answer to your thoughts on this.
Yes.
Should podcasters treat like their bios, their captions, and even like their hashtags, if they use those, like a mini SEO opportunity? Or is that being too extra, which we all know that I love to do?
I mean, as do I. I think of SEO anywhere as extra credit for business owners and podcasters.
Love that.
So if you have these opportunities, why not take advantage of it? Yes, I think you should use those. Your profiles, like I said, if you do nothing else, that bold line in your profile, definitely optimize that. For captions and stuff like that, I still use hashtags. I know you could follow 14 different Instagram experts and everybody will tell you something different and it'll be different next Tuesday. For Instagram, I have followed experts and like a couple really solid ones since like 2018, 2019, since I started my business. And hashtags haven't gone anywhere.
Right.
The number may change. The volume may change of like how many people are actually typing that particular hashtag. So like how saturated is the hashtag?
Right.
What page are you going to get buried on with that hashtag, for example? But it seems to be the prevailing thought that yes, hashtags are still valuable. And at least I would say 7 or 8 at least. Used to be 30. Recently, like within the last year, I heard 7 or 8. I've been following that. It seems to be working. I don't always make the hashtags different on every post. It seems like you can have some solid ones that are pretty similar throughout each one. But at least give yourself the chance of showing up for something like that. And then when it comes to the caption, so much of SEO is just being intentional and being thoughtful.
Yeah.
So if you're being intentional, if you're being thoughtful, it's going to come through in the caption anyway. You're going to naturally work in keywords. I think I brought this up on our last recording. You don't have to do the thing that was so popular for a while where you put the bar underneath the line and then you had all these keywords in there. You can just end up weaving them, the right ones, in strategically to the caption. A couple other things you can do is like if you're doing any kind of video, also goes for your podcast. Make sure you're saying the keywords. So if I'm talking about image optimization, I'm going to say image optimization for SEO or something like that.
Which I'll link that episode below.
It was a good one. I'm proud of that one.
It's a really good one.
Because I just redid it. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
I cannot stress that enough is just make sure that you're saying the things too. And then that you're turning on captions inside Instagram for any stories or reels or anything like that, because that's another hidden SEO opportunity. And that even counts if you're doing like an audiogram or an audio clip from your podcast and you want to promo that.
Oh, I love that so much. I didn't even think about that with the audio too, like lining that up like that.
Yeah, I've got another one for you if you want another hot tip.
Of course. We love hot tips.
I don't have like evidence if this is worth it or not, but again, why not at least try it?
Why not?
So what I do now, I had some graphics designed for my podcast, and I have an episode graphic where it'll show like the number and the push, pause, play, pause, whatever button. And then I have another one where it's a quote graphic. So I've not been doing the audio things as much. I've been doing more of these quote graphics.
Right.
I will take the time to optimize the image title for those images. And then if they become, a carousel post or a static post or something like that on my feed, then it's got keywords in the image title. Again, I have no evidence if this is super helpful or if it's not. But since Instagram and Google are working together now, and I know that image search is very much a thing, why not take advantage of that? And
why not?
Right?
Because what is my 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 going to do for me? Nothing.
Nothing.
Oh my goodness, mind blown.
Yeah.
Okay, optimizing all the images everywhere for all the things. Oh, that's brilliant.
Yeah. So I take the time. Like I said, I wish I had numbers or data or something, but I don't yet.
But that's the thing, though. Like, what harm does it do? Nothing.
Nothing. And it only takes an extra minute or two.
Right. And if you're doing all the research for the keywords and everything, you already have everything that you're going to want to be able to use anyway, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh my gosh. So good. But it also lines up with how I teach the attraction phase of my Seamless podcast framework that you all have heard me talk about. The more ways you show up strategically, the more places your ideal listener has to find you, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be complicated, as Brittany has said time and time again. It just needs to be intentional.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Okay, so the last piece of this house that we're building, I think is underutilized by podcasters. And that is, my friends, being a guest. Be our guest. Be our guest. You sang the last time. I figured I had to sing this time.
I'm dancing over here. No one can see me because we're audio only, but yeah.
It's all good. Because guesting isn't just about networking or visibility. Yes, those are important. But it's also, and I've learned this from you, that it's a powerful SEO opportunity.
Yeah.
So when someone appears as a guest on another podcast, what are strategic ways that you teach that you can leverage that for SEO? Like, I know you've talked about, and you can go into these, but I want to list these for you, but like backlinks and image optimization, and even like where they send people in a call to action.
Yes. Okay. So I could give a mini masterclass right now.
I
Rein
love
it in, Brittany.
But don't worry, friends. We may not have time for a masterclass today, but don't be despaired. It's not the Oregon Trail. You're not going to die of dysentery. You can.
I love that game.
I know, right? It's so good.
It's so good.
You can go and sign up for Brittany's SEO and Grow group program. Right? The card opens soon. We'll put the links, all the links below. Sorry.
My tiny little brain can't.
It's all good. I don't expect your... Gosh, Brittany, your brain is supposed to remember everything.
You know it is.
All the time.
She's underperforming. I'm kidding. I love you. No, yeah, it's opening soon. I'll make sure you have the link and the dates and all the things. There's going to be just fun stuff like new freebies that I'm dropping and new workshop that I'm hosting. And I don't know how this will relate to all of that. But yeah, I'll include the links.
I love it. Well, everybody can have the opportunity to learn about SEO.
Yeah, please. I mean, more of that.
Yes.
I'll keep this short since we did just talk about image optimization, but I have to say this because the amount of times that I get headshots from people where it's like red headshot and then their name or something like that, or it's just red headshot.jpg. And I'm like, this helps no one. So me being me, we know that I'm extra. We've already established that. I go in and I retitle the headshot before I go and use it. Not everyone's going to do that because one, they don't know to, and two, they may not want to take the time to do that. They're probably in a hurry getting things together, whatever. But you can do that extra step for them up front. So what I did personally is I had like 5 different headshots. I know that I rotate them and send them out depending on what color scheme and layout that somebody's graphic is for their podcast.
Well, that's a very considerate of you.
I try. Again, I want to get found and I want them to get found too, right? Like I'm putting my time and effort into this piece of content. Why wouldn't I want it to get found? So yeah, just go optimize your headshots, make sure your name is in there, and then whatever your professional title is or the thing that you want to get found for, remember we're doing dashes. It's like word dash, word dash, word dash.
Dashing through that snow.
That's right. I love that. So headshot, super key. Another thing you can do is make sure you are giving links that come back to your website. Instagram's amazing. You can certainly include that if you hang out there or whatever social platform you hang out on. But make sure your website is on there. Make sure that any kind of like freebies or courses or things that you're talking about are on your website. That would be super key because then all of that SEO juice is going to come to you. Leah mentioned backlinks. Here's a cool thing that I learned kind of like as I was going through it, because my journey was that I did podcast guesting for a long time. And then I had a podcast and now I have another podcast. And I still do podcast guesting because they all support each other.
Right.
Because I'm going over and talking to somebody else's audience. I have guests on my show. They're getting my audience. Like, it's just a happy little friendly bubble here that we have going on. And oh, what a wild web we weave. So by going and guesting, you are able to, when that podcast episode publishes, you're not just getting one backlink. You're not just getting one link from Buzzsprout to your website. You're getting all the different players. And Leah knows more about this than I do, but I can at least confirm that I had like 10 links for each episode. And so that chart was just like steadily climbing up every time. So I was maybe not doing the most amazing job at publishing content on my website, but I had a ton of backlinks, and that was a huge indicator to Google and other search engines that, oh, she knows what she's talking about and other people trust her. So that can be huge, and that can also help you get discovered, get found.
I love it. I have a question, and it might be, this scenario might be me being extra again. But let's say that I was a guest on someone's podcast. What if I wanted to write my own show notes for my own website?
Oh, yes, you definitely want to do this.
Okay.
You definitely want to do this. And one thing you're going to want to make sure to ask for if you're not given this thing is you want to ask for the embed code, because then you and I, when we create podcast, show note, episode, blog things, we're just going to say all the words. But when you create the blog post for that podcast episode, we both embed the audio. So if you go to Leah's blog and you go to a podcast episode, you'll see the audio's there. If you go to my blog and you go to a podcast episode, the audio's there. Guess what? That, if someone presses play from that blog post episode, it still counts as a download. So you can do the very same thing by bringing in that audio, which you do with that embed code. It sounds complicated. Trust me, it's not. I am not the most tech savvy, and even I can do it. So just ask them for that. And if anybody gives you any kind of resistance, just let them know, hey, I've been told that this actually helps your download count. This gets this in front of my audience and in front of new listeners for you. So it's a benefit to everyone. You're getting people staying on your website. They're getting more downloads for their show. The people are getting this content, this helpful information. So it's a win-win-win-win-win. What you do not want to do, and what I have seen people do, is you do not want to copy word for word the blog post that the podcast host has done and putting that on your website. Things need to be different. So you're going to need to think of a slightly different angle, like bring them in a side door. Maybe don't go in the front door. Again, like let's use last time I was on Leah's show and we talked about podcast SEO. And I could, even though I've got other articles on my blog, I could think of a unique angle. Like, okay, I'm just riffing, which is always dangerous for me to do. But, you know, what I could do is kind of make it like a case study. Like, hey, I've helped Leah with her SEO. Leah has implemented SEO with her podcast from the get-go. Here's some of the stuff we did. And if you want to learn about it, listen to this episode. Yes. And then I could give just little snippets. I could give stuff away. And then I'm encouraging people to listen to the audio. So that's an example of an angle. It's going to just depend on your story, your relationship with the podcast host or the podcast, what you shared over there, from what you've already created on your website. It's going to depend on a number of factors, but what you don't want to do is just copy paste the same thing that the podcast host did onto your blog post.
We want to hear your words or read your words, share your words. You're brilliant. All you. That's what they're there for, right? And I've also seen this too play out with like my own clients. Like when you're guesting, you're not just showing up in front of a new audience, but you're also creating that SEO equity, right?
Yeah.
Like you were saying. Every time another show links back to your podcast, that's building authority with the search engines, all the good things. And then if you point that traffic strategically, those guest appearances can keep paying off long after your interview, right?
Oh, yeah.
So it's like forever and always. Amen.
For years, I've had people find me on other episodes that I guested on. And maybe that podcast isn't even putting out new episodes, but it's something I did 2 years ago. I mean, this happened this summer. I did something 2 years ago. The person found me. They ended up following me. And I think they ended up purchasing something or doing some kind of course or program or something.
Boom.
Yeah. It works, man.
Yes. Okay. So let's talk about the flip side.
Okay.
We may have just covered all of this, but
Of course, I jumped ahead.
it's all good. I love it. What are some common opportunities that people miss when guesting that leave the SEO value on the table? We know that I think the big one that you talked about was if you're going to repurpose that episode that you were on someone else's podcast is to be original and write your own words and like your own take, your own show notes, blog posts, whatever you're going to do for that.
Mm-hmm.
What other opportunities?
So this isn't so much of maybe an SEO play, but it is something that I have found hugely beneficial. Anytime I guest on someone's podcast, when they let me know, or if they don't let me know, and then I just like find out later on that the podcast went live.
Or if they tell you like the day of.
Or if they tell me the day of, I mean.
Like your friend here.
I've done that to people. So
it happens.
That's not rude. I don't think that's like celebratory. But like at whatever point I discover that there's a new episode out with me as the guest, I add it to a Spotify playlist where it's all of my interviews. And then you can play around with the order too. So for example, I used to talk a lot more about case studies. I don't do that as a done for you service. I don't have a program for that anymore.
Right.
So I've bumped those a little bit down.
Yeah.
They're still valuable, but I really want people hearing about podcast SEO and website SEO and even social media stuff. So I've moved those episodes higher. You could also play around if you were on like a really big show and you could slide that up a little bit higher in the priority. So it's just really nice. And then I include that link on my media page. I could include that link on a blog post if I was to actually follow through on this and write a blog post, my own advisor, and write a blog post about, for example, being on Leah's show, then I could have somewhere toward the bottom, hey, check out my other podcast guest interviews and send them to that playlist. So it's building your authority. It's stuff that we're in the world of AI, the season of AI right now. It's something that those AI bots are crawling the internet for, is where else is Brittany's name found? Where else is Leah's name found? So yeah, that can be really, really beneficial.
This has nothing to do with our topic, but I think this is also a underutilized option for podcasters is using those Spotify playlists.
Mm-hmm.
I have a couple of clients who are using them for like if someone reaches out and they book a discovery call, they'll send them like a pre-call playlist that goes through maybe their process or sticking points of where they may not, the people they want to work with them, they don't want to move forward because of XYZ. And they answer
all the objections?
Yes. They like answer all of that and they go through all of that and they put the playlist together and they send it like discovery call or whatever, right?
Whoa.
The possibilities are endless with those playlists. I love it so much. You could use it for the guesting. You could use it for discovery calls. You could use it for case studies. You could use it for, everything. Your programs.
I need to do that.
Yes.
Yeah.
All your programs in a tidy little bow. Yes. They're all right there.
You've just given me so many great solo episode ideas.
I actually give you an idea for once.
No, stop. You're giving me ideas constantly. This is good.
Love it, love it, love it.
That's so clever.
Thank you. I have moments sparingly, but they're there.
Lots of moments.
But the takeaway for this, at least for this piece, is that guesting, you need to think about it as both visibility and search.
Mm-hmm.
You just don't want ears on your episode. You want that long-term discoverability that keeps building momentum.
Mm-hmm.
We love it. Brittany.
Yes.
This one has been short and sweet, and I love it. And has been so good and chocked full of goodness gracious notes and nuggets and all the things.
Yeah.
I love that we've taken SEO beyond the podcast itself and really looked at how their website, their social profiles, and even guesting can all tie into discoverability and help them grow and be awesome as they are.
Yeah.
For those listening, here's your big takeaway. SEO isn't a one and done checklist item. It's about making sure every piece of your digital footprint, from your website to your Instagram bio to your guest interviews and beyond, is pointing back to your podcast and business. Brittany, where can listeners connect with you? And most importantly, come join your program.
Oh, yeah.
Or anything else you want to mention, please, by all means.
All the things. So you'll definitely want to hang out on Instagram. I'm in the DMs all the time. I'm actually, ironically, getting back to posting more on Instagram because I know that the people that want to lean into SEO but are afraid to leave social media, that's where they're hanging out. So I'm in the DMs. Come say hi. You can always tune in to my podcast, which now is going to have lots of those like questions and objection handling type episodes now that I've been given the idea by Leah. So that is the Basic Bee podcast. So come hang out, find me over there. Everything will be on my website, BrittanyHerzberg.com. I usually have announcement banners, so it's pretty evergreen. If you hear this at any point and you come over to the website, whatever is going on, you'll be able to see that. The SEO shop that I have on my website has lots of good resources if you're looking to DIY or maybe even do a little like done with you SEO. So yeah, that's where you can find me.
Perfect. And I will make sure that all the things are linked in the show notes, my friends. And if you're ready to make your podcast more discoverable and you want tips like these every week, make sure you're subscribed to my free newsletter. It's amazing. We have fun. I share a lot of information. So much. Education is like a masterclass in your inbox.
It's so good.
Thank you. And the link is also in the show notes. Until next time, friends, keep podcasting with purpose. Think about SEO beyond your podcast and keep it seamless. Bye for now.